because they're walking away with I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't know. Before I came to Austria, I expected it to be much more difficult to make connections and get to know the people at my schools. But it turns out when you get here, the teachers are eager to meet you and practice their English with you, and the students are eager to get to know you and get to know where you come from and tell you what they think about America. So it makes it really easy to talk to people and get to know the people at your school. My favorite part of the job so far is definitely getting to know my students and forming connections with all of the different students. Every class is different, so some classes are going to be more quiet, some classes are going to be more loud, but they always have questions and they're always so interested in however I answer the questions, which makes the job super fun. And everybody has their own personality. I mean, as you would expect with humans, but it is fun just to get to know their individual personalities, find out what they like so that I can make my lessons based on what they've told me their interests are. The schools that I am at this year, one of them is a Borg, so one of them is a gymnasium, and the other one is a HLB, which is a vocational school. So everybody at the HLB is learning a different trade, so cooking, sports, what have you, and everybody at the Borg is at a classic 4-year gymnasium where they take normal classes. At my school, my responsibility is to create presentations and lesson plans that will help enrich my students' knowledge of America. So I tell them about my experiences in America, maybe hint to them of how my experiences may be different from what they experience in Austria, and then essentially we talk about it, or they do the lesson that I have planned. Sometimes it's a game, sometimes they have to do their own mini presentations. It just depends on the class and what makes sense with the topic that I'm teaching for the day. So yeah, I go to class, I present to my students, I hear what they have to say about the topic, and then class is over. And hopefully when they leave class, they have learned something new about American culture or the English language. Maybe sometimes they don't, I don't know, but it is rewarding to hear that they have learned something from what I've done for the day. The biggest and most obvious difference between US schools and Austrian schools, in my opinion, is that students at Austrian schools are simply much more well-behaved. So when I went through the US school system, I noticed that maybe half the class isn't turning in their homework. The other half of the class is probably sleeping. But in Austrian schools, the students are always paying attention, always prepared with questions. And again, this could just be my experience in both American schools and the school that I am at in Austria. But I have noticed that, and I mean, it sticks out like a sore thumb. When I'm in class, I speak to the students, everybody is paying attention to me. On Fridays, they tend to get a little riled up. They have a couple more side conversations. And also sometimes it takes some reminders to them that we should be speaking in English. The amount of times that I have yelled at a classroom that they should be speaking in English is, I mean, expected, but a lot. Yeah, so that's the biggest thing. The students tend to be much more well-behaved, and it's honestly refreshing as a teacher because we don't have to constantly be reminding them to be nice to each other or pay attention in class because they're already doing it. The dynamic between me and my students is honestly great. Like when I walk into a classroom, of course, all of them stand up because that's what they do here in Austria. But most of the time, there is either muttering about how excited they are that I'm here for the day, or they're just fully cheering for me when I walk in the room because they get so excited that they get to have the American in class again. So that makes it really easy for me to feel comfortable in the classroom, crack jokes, and I think it keeps them entertained, and then they keep me entertained with their questions or comments that they have about whatever I'm talking about. So yeah, it's really fun, and I see them in the hallway, obviously, all the time, and they're always like, "Hi, Caroline. Hey, Caroline, how's it going?" So, I mean, all of them are just so welcoming, and I think part of it just comes from the fact that they're so excited that we are in their school. I decided to apply for the USTA program because one of the professors that I had in college did this program after he finished his time at university. So he basically sent out an email to some of the German students at my university and said, "Hey guys, this is what I did when I graduated college, and I think you guys would be really great for it." And then once I heard that, I was like, moving to Austria, become fluent in German, hopefully. I knew that it was something that I wanted to do. And also, when I was a freshman in college, I studied abroad in Salzburg, Austria. So when I was there for a semester, I basically fell in love with the country and knew that I eventually wanted to move to Austria. It just happened much sooner than I was expecting because of this program. So it's really awesome. The most rewarding part of my job so far as a USTA is seeing how my lessons actually can impact the lives of my students. A couple days ago, I did a lesson on Halloween. So I taught all of the students about what we do for Halloween in America because they don't celebrate it at all, but they also don't celebrate it in the same way that we do in America. And part of the lesson was showing them the song The Monster Mash. And I played them the song. All of them loved it, like standing up, dancing. They asked to listen to it again, loving the Monster Mash, okay? And one of the girls in that class has a mother who is a teacher at my school. And her mom came up to me and was like, "My daughter had you in class and you played her like some Halloween song." And I was like, "Yes, I absolutely did. The best Halloween song there is." And she said that she has been hearing her daughter listen to this song, The Monster Mash, like alone in her room when she's just like hanging out. And she always asks to play it whenever they're in the car. So just thinking about like a family having to hear The Monster Mash over and over and over again because of me is funny, but also like it's a great introduction to American society and American culture because we do genuinely love that song in America. I have found that it is actually really easy to get involved in Austrian culture and just like everyday Austrian life because we're living here. And so every time I leave my house, I am either talking to an Austrian person, like ordering my meals in German, because where I live in Austria, nobody outside of school really speaks English. So no matter what, I'm practicing my German, but also just like going to a bar in Austria. It's really, really easy to meet people there and everybody's eager to speak to you because if they hear your American accent when you're speaking German, they'll run up to you and be like, "Ooh, where are you from?" They want to know all about it. Or they want to tell you where they have been in America, what they did in America. I mean, even if it has nothing to do with the state that you're from, it doesn't matter because then at least you are speaking to people and getting to know another person who comes from a completely different culture that you come from. What I have enjoyed most about Austria so far is simply the beautiful scenery. When you take a train or even when I walk out the front door of my apartment, I'm seeing something beautiful. There are mountains surrounding me. There's always, always, always something to look at outside. When I'm on a train, I'm not even on my phone. Most of the time, I don't even need music because if I just look out the window, then, I mean, it's like meditation to sit with your thoughts, honestly. But it's also just beautiful, like, and that's that. There's nothing that I could be looking at on my phone that that would be more entertaining than simply looking at the Austrian landscape. If I could give one piece of advice to future USTAs, it would be to make your classes fun. Like, the students like and enjoy you more when you come in with a good attitude. Joke around with them. Make it something that they can genuinely enjoy, because if they are enjoying themselves in class, then they're gonna be more likely to remember what you are saying to them. And they're gonna want to understand what you're saying to them, because you've already proven yourself as somebody that they can trust by going in and being yourself, making the classroom fun, making it a safe space for people to enjoy themselves and ask questions. Because when they're asking questions and you're giving them answers, they're automatically going to learn more. And that's what we want at the end of the day. We want the students to leave the classroom with more knowledge than they came in with, because that's how you make it worth it for yourself, because then that's rewarding to see them learning, but then it also makes it worth it for them, because then they're leaving the classroom with more knowledge.